Years ago I had a class and there was two groups of people. There was these teachers and there was these students. And something happened and there was a cancellation and they're like, get Isaac, get Isaac. He'll know what to do. And I actually had like 30 teachers and 30 kids. And they said, you have like an hour with them. Can you fill them up somehow? Can you do something? I'm like, sure, let me give it a shot. And I decided to take the teachers and the students and separate them. And they were 6-year-old kids. These were grade oneers. And I put the teachers off onto the north side of the building. And I said, I want you to make a chief and council. I want you to elect a chief and you have a council. And the issue is, how do we get clean water to birds? Because they don't have a water treatment plant and they're having babies and we want to try to get clean water to those babies. So that's your issue. And we want you to try to figure out how to do that. And I told the children the same thing. So we formed a little chief and council. They elected a chief, which was a little girl. And they started to talk about how they were going to get clean water to birds, especially baby birds. And I noticed that on the north side of the building where the adults were, it started to get loud. And this leader emerged and he was big and his fingers were fat. He was a very powerful man. And he took over the whole meeting. And he started writing on the slip chart how they're going to, change over the government and create new legislation and policies. And he had all sorts of graphs and everything. And you can see the veins just popping out of his head. He was just so intense. I was like, wow, that man is something else. But I was very excited about what they were doing. And then I look over at the kids on the other side of the building, and they're all singing a song. Like, they're singing the song, and I never really went to school, so I don't know the songs of kids, but they were singing a beautiful song. And so I let this go on for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, I wanted them to, of course, address the group, what changes they were going to do or how they were going to get water to birds. So I let the adults go first, the teachers. And of course, this big man, he was the chief. He came up and he started to really, really go hard with his diagrams and his flip charts, paper after paper. He spoke for about 15, 20 minutes. And, to his credit, he did an amazing job. He changed the world in 15 minutes. He had it all figured out. But honestly, there was great ideas. There's no doubt. I also understood that the presentation was only him because I was listening. Nobody was really plugging into it except him. So anyway, his presentation was over. We all clapped and, yay. It was the kids' turn. And they're all standing up. And the little girl chief, she says, well, we kind of figured it out right away. This was an easy one. And they said, in the middle of our circle, come take a look. So I went to the middle of their circle, and in the middle, they had found a clay pot, and they filled it with clean water. And they said, we're going to bring this clean water out to them. I thought, wow, let's do this. And so this little 6-year-old girl held up this clay pot of clean water, and we started walking out of the school. And there was kind of like a ravine in the back. We would go to the ravine, and they're singing their song. They're holding this clay thing of water. And we went to this tree, and she placed that clay pot by this tree. And we had like a horseshoe around the tree. And of course, they sang their song. And they said the song was going to call the birds. And you're not going to believe what happened next. It's something that it gives me the chills every single time I tell this story. As we were leaving, all of a sudden, a family of mallards, a mama mallard duck, came. And it had all these little chickadees. and they went to that clay pot. They started drinking that water. Not only were the kids able to figure out how to do it, but they actually did it in a half an hour. The difference between those kids and the adults, action. They took action from the heart, and it meant everything. It changed everything at that moment. They were actually able to bring water to birds, and the birds were drinking it in a half an hour because they weren't using this. They were using this right here. That's what made the difference. So I think in moving forward, they say the heart is really our brain, and that our brain is just follows what the heart tells it to do. So with that, I want to leave you with that message.